So there are two new SSR coming to Etheria Restart. Are they worth it? Are they strong? Do you pull for them? Those are the biggest question in the community right now. So first, before I talk about these characters, I just want to quickly say that I am not a fan of releasing two new SSR immediately after two SSR banner. That is a little bit too fast for my taste, and it's going to be a lot of pressure for the casual spender or the free-to-play player, because to hit pity on both of them, it's going to be a little bit challenging if you use your pool for whatever you've been doing in the game up until now. I think preparing 160 pool for them is not going to be easy, and the duration of the banner is not exactly very long as well. I think it's going to be only 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks going to be a bit better, so you can farm a bit more pool in the game via Arena or RTA Shop or United Front or whatever. So overall, I am not a fan of how fast they're releasing, how short the banner is, and it is a double SSR release. However, there are some redeeming qualities in this situation, which is that this is not going to be like a one banner with two unit situation. So it's going to be two separate banner that you decide to pull on. So maybe if you are like a free-to-play or casual spender and you like Hoyan more or you like Holden more, then you will just decide to pull on that one particular banner and probably ignore the other one. I think it should be a thing for this game that whenever they release a new SSR character, maybe they release a new SR character together in the batch so that the casual spender or the free-to-play player can potentially play with a new character as well without spending a crazy amount of summon on the banner. And maybe, just maybe, new R character. That'd be great, but R characters don't make money for the game, so maybe they probably not gonna do that. Also, because they haven't responded to the hotfix situation that they caused themselves, I'm not sure how much hype we have for these banner. It feels kind of weird to be in a situation where, damn, are they going to respond? Do I get hype for the new thing? And then how do I talk to people? How do I talk to my audience? How do I talk to the community? All that kind of stuff is in a little bit of an awkward position to be like, yeah, let's go, new banner. So I'm not too sure. But anyway, let's talk about the new character coming to Etheria Restart. First, we're going to talk about Hoyan, which is pretty much the same as how she was in the beta. They talk about reworking her so that they can re-release her properly, but I think she's probably going to be the same unit from the video that they reposted. So the skill is pretty much the same for Hoyan, and we have a skill available on all the wiki site at the moment because it is very similar to the beta skill. So this character is going to be a very strong single target damage dealer, and that is not going to be very good for Doki Doki. Even though she is a green character, she might be usable in Termaton and definitely not in Aurora because Aurora is going to be a red element boss. But I think her strongest point is going to be in PvP because her passive allow her to cheat death and potentially one-shot enemy target when they're trying to kill her, and potentially revive a dead ally as well. And her skill 3 will allow her to consume health but do massive damage to one single target. So she has been used in PvP tournament before the game release, and every time she showed up, it is gonna be a very scary fight because if you accidentally kill her, then she kill you. And if you let her stay and stack up damage and buff and whatever, then she also one-shot you. And that is a very, very scary thing. And another important thing about the timing of the release of this character is that United Front is going to be released in Etheria Restart very soon. And from what we know, it could be a 3v3 battle. And single target damage, from my personal experience with this kind of game mode and other game, is going to be ridiculously strong for United Front. So it's going to be a very good banner to target at the spender so that they're going to try to get as many copy of her as possible so they can contribute to their guild, especially all the tryhard guild. Hoyan is going to be incredible because when you set up a team to fight in a 3v3 situation, it's going to be very different from setting up a team for a 4v4. In 4v4, you can have DPS, sub-DPS, support character, and control. But in 3v3, maybe you can only have one DPS and two other support character, because if you overstack DPS in your team, then they can outspeed you, control you, and your DPS cannot get out of that situation very easily. So usually, it is going to be like a one main source of damage and two other support character. But with Hoyan, she can one-shot that DPS quickly with her skill with, let's say, Lily buff, for example, or Kachi, or whatever buffer you're using, okay? You kill the enemy DPS quickly with Hoyan consuming her own health like Victor to do big damage, and you kind of just win the game from then on. It is really, really good for United Front. And I think that is just a very timely release for a single target damage dealer that can ignore defense. So this is going to be an amazing character if you are a tryhard United Front Union player. And I think it's going to be great for Arena as well. If you put this character on your Arena defense, she might just flip the table on the enemy team. And if you put her in RTA, once again, a very scary one-shot character. If you ignore her, you die. If you touch her, you might also die. So overall, a very strong PvP character that's going to be released because we got Freya, very good PvE character. We got Messiah, very good overall damage dealer. But now we have a specifically good PvP character. And because people have been building their account to a point where they're doing okay in PvE, especially the whale and the spender. So the motivation to pull for Hoyen is going to be really, really high. And what about the other character that's going to be released as well, which is going to be Holden? So we don't have the skill for this character just yet, and we only have the description from the dev team. So for Holden, he's going to be a defense-focused, balanced character. So potentially similar to Rahul, which is going to be a defense scaling damage dealer who can weaken the enemies through powerful counterattack and AoE dispel effect. So I think it's going to be a 5-star version of Mizuki, the Iron Fist girl, the two big fists, that can also counterattack and AoE dispel. And he combines survival, which might hint towards some sort of healing or self-healing or heal based on his damage output. Disruption, which is the counter-attack, may come with some sort of control as well, which is going to be similar to Viper, for example, with the revenge into silence into potentially AoE slow and consistent damage output capability, excelling in high-pressure combat situation. So for a red defense scaling bruiser damage dealer, and in my experience with Gil v Gil 3v3 battle, that is going to be a very, very strong character in there as well. And we do have a couple decent revenge counter-attack character in the game right now. They're not shining in like RTA or Arena just yet, but I feel like soon when people start building more bruiser playstyle with like Hell Kit for immunity, 6-star Ling Low for a lot of healing, and then these sort of defense scaling, HP scaling bruiser turn 2 character that can counter-attack, it's gonna slowly make their way into the meta because right now they're not super tanky just yet, and you kind of have to build them for PvE as well. They're not PvP build ready, but the moment they are PvP build ready and they can start revenging, they can start disrupting your team, I think it's gonna be amazing. So I think Holden is gonna be like a combination of like Viper and Mizuki with the defense scaling, with the counter attack, with the disruption, with the strip, and potentially debuff and skill 1 as well. I think he's gonna be another strong bruiser character. But the good thing is, if you look at these two characters, they are kind of the opposite of one another. One of them is going to be a very aggressive single target burst damage kind of character, and the other one is going to be a slow bruiser defense scaling sustained damage kind of situation. So it really depends on your playstyle to pull for the one that you really like. Of course, Hoyan, the waifu, is going to be so much more popular because her playstyle is definitely more exciting. But then there are also a group of players that decide to go with more bruiser, slower playstyle, and trying to sustain as long as possible. That is nothing wrong as well. So I definitely advise to pull for the one that you definitely enjoy and don't pull for the one just to feel like you have to pull for the unit. I don't think they're going to be needed for any PvE content of the game, which is going to be the biggest bottleneck for the majority of the player base for a long time. If you are trying to raise war PvP with whales right now and you're not like a whale yourself, you're either playing the game on hell mode or you have a god tier reroll account, or you are just, I don't know, you lost the sauce. I have no idea. But Sean, can you actually summon for them? So right now, if you look at my summoning currency, I have 27 summon. Not a whole lot. and I have 18,000 gem. I have been max refreshing every day, and I still have a decent amount of gem. So if I really want to hit pity on both banner after release, I can do that. But will I do that personally? I don't think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna throw in a bit here and there, but I would not focus on hitting pity on these two characters because they are both not super important for PvE. Maybe Holden can be good for Terramaton, but I don't see the vision where they must have in PvE, and that is very important to me because I feel like I can still progress very, very well in the game without pulling any specific character, even though it's hard. Like, it's not easy. It's not like crazy fun. It is quite challenging, but I don't think I'm gonna need any unit. I didn't need Freya. It would be great if I have Freya. I didn't need Holden, and I don't think I'm gonna need Hoyan or Holden. So if you wanna skip, like, if you want to skip, you can use me as a skip ticket. All right. You are allowed to skip the banner. The banner lasts 12 days, which means there might be something more coming after this. So, hey, man, if you want to skip this two banner, it is 100% fine. Don't feel pressure to spend money in the game just to get the unit. Okay. That is how gacha game get you. That is how they make you buy these packages, unlock your bad spending habit, and absolutely destroy your credit card debt. Remember that companies are not your friend. Spend wisely and just chill. Don't worry too much about this. It is totally fine to play the game without Hoyan or Holden or hold on to these nuts or whatever. But that's it for me today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.